Welcome back to the Becoming Better Families channel. I'm Samuel Scott. I'm here joined with my mom Stephanie and my dad Kenneth Scott. Today is going to be our fifth part in the Keys to Successful Marriage series, and today I'm going to interview my mom and dad on an interesting topic when it comes to marriage, and that is the challenges and the hurdles and how to overcome those hurdles in a interracial marriage. So just to give you some background on my mom and my dad, they've been together for 33 years, but they've gotten married and been married now for 26 years. They have two children, me and my sister, and many people view their marriage and view our family as very close and heavily reliant on each other and heavily bonded. And many people don't know the reason why. So mom and dad, you can answer these in whatever order you want. Mom can go first, dad can go first, whichever order you want. But first, I wanted to ask, when it comes to an interracial relationship, especially early on, what were some challenges and hurdles that you both experienced in the culture of one another and adjusting to that culture?
Sweet.
You start off.
Okay. So, okay. Some of the challenges is, of course, you have to get used to people looking at you. That is one thing for sure. People will eye you. They're going to look at you because it looks different. And people were not, back then, or whenever we first started, it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. I mean, today it's just easily prevalent. But, obviously people are going to look at you and gawk and so forth and
Judging.
so on. And judging.
Yeah.
And, but you have to let that slide off of your shoulder. Just let it slide off. It's not a big deal. People are going to look and they're going to, whisper, say something, or, ooh, and, things of that nature. The other thing is, though, is that whenever they start to treat you different now, and you notice this. So for me, it's not such a big deal because I'm a black guy, of course, and and I was raised in the South, and so the the looking and the whispering and whatnot is not such a big deal for me in that sense. But whenever we got together and we moved out to California, I can remember one incident in particular where, to my wife, she had never really experienced someone, I don't really want to use the word because I think it's kind of overused these days, but discriminate against you. She had to take a little bit different. So we went to this restaurant and they wanted to seat us near the restroom, which was, it was not good, but that was one thing. And then the way that the service was from the person, everything about it told that this person was discriminating against us, the way they wanted to talk to us, the way that they wanted to present themselves. And so my wife didn't take too kindly to it. It was kind of funny in actuality. It was real funny in actuality. So she didn't take too kindly to it. And when you face these things, you're gonna have to let it fall off your shoulders and recognize that a lot of people are just stupid. They're ignorant, and that's just the way that it is. So yeah.
Well, there's other things too where my husband would go to the cashier at a store and he would show me that they wouldn't even touch him by putting change in his hand, where they would touch my hand right away. But then he would point it out and show me, and sure enough, I would see certain things that I haven't seen before as far as discrimination. I didn't really have to deal with that growing up. I lived in California. Everything's cool, and a lot of people have I guess, status there, but I never really paid attention to it until um, Dad came to California, and he would show me the discrimination that he was shown. And then I would see other people looking at me because I was with him. And yeah, just like Dad says, that you just have to roll it off, because if you love somebody, I mean, you just let that other stuff go, really. So
Right, right, and that's like, yeah, definitely a case of the outside influence.
yeah.
Uh, did did any of that? I know y'all said because y'all love each other, but did y'all have conversations about that before going certain places, or did any of that like get into your relationship? Like, okay, just be prepared. We're gonna just face this, or certain people are gonna say this about us.
Slightly. Yeah, we would say something, before we went to a restaurant or whatnot, like she was saying it, if I would have pointed out, or I would,
Yeah.
say, just be keen that this may happen.
Mhm.
Like she's saying about whenever they gave the change, they don't want to touch your hand, they want to drop it in, but when they give her the change, they want to lay it in her hand, and it's okay to touch, and so on. But not discuss a lot. We didn't discuss it a lot, but just little things I would point out to her,
Mhm.
what they would say to you, or where they would sit you, or, things of this nature. And, those little things, you can tell, if you've experienced it before, you can tell. It's easy to tell.
Correct. Interesting. Okay. So what about what about your personal culture? So when going into, obviously y'all are both American, so it's going to be a bit easier in that way, personal culture. But Dad, you just stated that you're a black man from the South. You're going to eat food differently than what Mom eats, or
Yes.
you what you consider as fun may be a little different from what Mom consider as fun, or things of that nature. How
Mhm.
did you two deal with maybe the cultural difference in your upbringing playing a factor in your relationship?
I learned how to cook collard greens. I've never had collard greens in my life, and then learned from his mom, and continue to cook it, you know, whenever he feels like greens, and cornbread, and black eyed peas, and um, uh, Dad likes to be loud and loves color, and I'm more conservative and like bland colors. um, but uh, you know, you learn what each other likes, and because of where he grew up, I wanted to know more about him, and he wanted to learn more about what I did as a kid or grew up doing, and we just kind of mesh. So I learned some things, he learned some things from me. So
So you two were willing to learn things from each other
yeah.
and learn each other's way of doing things.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was true. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, a really pretty cool thing was whenever I took her home, back to Georgia, and just to see her reaction to the people, and her reaction to, um, the way that people talk and
Mhm.
so forth. It was kind of funny, just to experience that, but to experience the food. And I told her, I know my mom's gonna cook a red velvet cake for me. Just wait and
She
see.
did.
I
She
told her, I
did.
said, just wait, you'll see. Just, it's gonna happen. And just the different things that go on, and from the eating to the hanging out to friends coming over. She had met some of my friends from home, and actually while we were in service, in Texas. It just so happened that two of my best friends were stationed at the same place, at the same base. And so she had gotten a chance to kind of meet them, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then for her to meet, other family and things whenever we went home, it was great. Just like meeting anybody else, but of course, the country sound, when people speaks and whatnot is kind of different to her and so forth and so on. So that was pretty good.
So what about, so we talked about whenever y'all were experiencing certain glares from people, or people would treat you a certain way because of y'all being mixed race and a mixed race relationship. What about family and close friends? Would family and close friends treat you differently due to this? Would they stay the same? What was their reaction, especially in the time that you were dating, which was in the 90s?
90s.
Well, for me, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
For me, it was pretty easy because I knew my mom was gonna love her, was gonna love Stephanie regardless, and that she was just gonna be Stephanie to her, and that she was gonna allow her to just show who she was, and she's gonna love her for who she is. And and she met her, and that's what happened. She was just like she. And so and it was great. It was really good. So but Stephanie, on the other hand, she had to see some things that was a little different in her family. I mean, she can tell you.
So I told my parents about Kenneth, and they were not too happy about my decision on dating him. So they said that they wouldn't have any part of it. So because I knew that Dad was the one for me, no matter the color, no, nothing. So I took it as they weren't supporting me in my decision just because of his color. So I did not speak to them for over a year, 2 years, 2 years.
Wow.
And the only reason we came together was my sister's wedding. And it was the first time my parents met him. I mean, I had to ask my sister if it would be okay if I brought Kenneth to the wedding, and she says yes, and who cares what mom and dad think. And so I did. They met him, and they started to open up more, but I wasn't gonna let them get in the way of my relationship with your dad. And so it took a little bit for them, but anyone else, like grandpa, my dad, and my sister, they no problems whatsoever. And
just to kind of clear that up, whenever she says my dad, is because her parents are divorced.
Yeah.
So I met her stepdad and her mom, but her actual dad, then he was cool from the first time I ever met him. He was great with it, and he's like, I call him Pa. He's the greatest.
Yeah.
he loves it. He tells me how he's so glad that that I love his daughter, of course, and that we're together, and it just makes him so happy. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So yeah.
But not only family, some family, but even a couple friends too. So you let that go. They have they don't know how to deal with because we came together and we're different race. So they didn't know how to handle it, and I just let it go. You just let it go. Like if you see it in the street and someone or judges you and rolls their eyes at you, you just keep on walking. Just brush it off, and you're with
who you love.
Yeah, who you love.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So very, very cool. And this kind of leads into the next question then. obviously y'all are married. Y'all had me and my sister, and what would you say would they be the same challenges, or what would you say are specific challenges to having children that are mixed, that are, yeah, they're half and half of both of y'all. So what would you say are some challenges, and how would you overcome those challenges, if there were any, when having?
Well, I would actually say to the parents that obviously they need to be aware that, you know, obviously that your kid is going to be treated different.
Mhm.
They're going to be treated differently by the black kids, and they're going to be treated differently by the white kids. The black kids are going to say that the kid's not black enough. The white kid is going to say, you black. Just point blank. And you're both. I mean, you can speak to that because you experienced it, and but that you're actually both. And we didn't want a situation where y'all was choosing one side
or the other.
right, one side or the other. You wanted y'all to be proud of both of your sides. That yes, you are black, but yes, you are white as well. You're mixed. That's just who you are. And it's not a biggie. You still human. You got feelings and stuff the same as anybody else. And so it was very, very important that y'all recognize that. And then it was very important for us to kind of teach you along the way that this is going to happen, and that people are going to treat you a different way, right? I mean, whenever I sat you down and talked to you about it, and Jesse, whenever I sat y'all down, it was like around middle school, I think it was. And uh, you know that that's their ignorance, and that's their problem, as far as I see it. And like I would tell y'all, they don't pay no bills in this house, so we ain't got to worry about what they say, you know. And that's just the truth of it. And they're just ignorant, you know. But you keep going, and I would always say you just keep your heart pure, and you do what's right in your heart, and you know that is right in your heart, and you'll be good. Leave the rest alone, let God handle it, and move forward.
It seems like communication seems to be the main driver that I'm getting at.
Mhm.
That y'all communicated even when family wouldn't talk to y'all. Y'all
Yep.
communicated with me and my sister, with people thinking we're a certain way because we're mixed. So it seems like your communication and commitment to each other and the covenant of marriage, um, played an important part in keeping yourselves together through the trial, through the tribulation, through the stuff that wasn't always pretty.
Right.
Yes.
But
That's right.
Yeah.
right, but it happened. So that's awesome. That's going to be all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed this video, if you have any specific questions about interracial marriages or marriage in general, please leave a comment down below. We'll be sure to answer it in our next video. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you feel like this message could bless somebody else, please give it a share and share it to whoever you seem fit. Once again, we would like to thank y'all for listening to this interview, and y'all have a very blessed rest of the week. Thank you.